Hello, I'm Glenis Willmott, Labour member of the European Parliament for the East Midlands in the UK. I'm really sorry I can't be with you for your conference today, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you all by video. Over the past few years, fighting childhood cancer has been one of my main aims. Initially, I got involved after visiting a specialist childhood brain tumour centre in Nottingham. I met dedicated paediatric oncologists like Dr. David Walker and inspirational young patients like Sam White. Those working at the centre are determined to improve treatments and outcomes for the children and teenagers they care for. But they told me that too often they're forced to use experimental drugs because there are no other treatments available for some of these rare tumours. Children are desperate to enrol in new clinical trials, which in some cases can be their only hope of survival. But there are simply not enough clinical trials for such rare cancers. It can be difficult to find enough patients in the UK alone, so trials must be carried out across Europe. But setting up a cross-border trial is time-consuming, difficult and expensive. Sometimes it's just not feasible to carry out research that could save children's lives. The situation is totally unacceptable. We already have European legislation in place which should facilitate these life-saving cross-border trials. But too often the cumbersome rules make it harder. Different countries interpreted the rules differently. And applying for authorisation for a trial in different countries, following different rules in different languages, can be a bureaucratic nightmare. So I decided to do something about it. So I decided to lead the revision of the rules by becoming rapporteur of the clinical trials regulation. It took nearly 2 years of leading negotiations between the European Parliament, the European Commission and with the 28 governments of the EU. But in April this year, the Parliament voted overwhelmingly for my report and the regulation became law. One of the biggest improvements will be a single portal for applications, which will mean cross-border trials only need to send one application to one place and will get one reply. This will greatly reduce the time and money it costs to set up a trial into a rare childhood cancer. And the deadline for authorising the trial will be legally enforceable after 60 days, even for cross-border trials. As you know, many cancer treatments involve off-label use of medicine. We managed to get special rules for trials with off-label drugs when it's already standard practice, which means less red tape. And we introduced comprehensive transparency measures to ensure that all trial results are published. We need to know the results of all trials, successful, unsuccessful and inconclusive, to further research, ensure patient safety and avoid duplicating unnecessary or dangerous trials. The new rules come into force in 2016 and I really hope that they will encourage and support more life-saving research into childhood cancer treatments. The improvements are a real testament to the young man Sam White that I met in Nottingham in 2011. We continued to work together as Sam battled his brain tumour and underwent pioneering treatment in Belgium. Very sadly, Sam died almost exactly a year ago, but the work that he did lives on. And while we wait for the new rules to be fully implemented, there are still more issues that I want to look at in this new Parliament. I still want to support the idea of national indemnification systems to reduce the astronomical costs of ensuring some trials. Unfortunately, this was not something we could get governments to agree on at a European level, but I hope that having the discussion has prompted more countries to start looking at the possibilities. And we also have to address the problems in the paediatric regulation. In the past, medicines for children have been too often neglected. The EU law has been a significant step forward in ensuring that pharmaceutical companies have a duty to investigate new medicines in children. But we have to look again at exemptions from the rules. Drugs should not get exemptions just because the cancer they are designed to treat doesn't occur in children. Because often the drug will have a mechanism of action that could work in childhood cancers. Those drugs must be tested in children because children fighting cancer deserve every chance possible. I've already asked the Commission to rectify the problem through updated guidelines, and if this is not possible, I will call for a full-scale review of the legislation. We also have to ensure that updated legislation on data protection does not hamper medical research. We all want people's private data to be properly protected, but we must be careful not to inadvertently make essential medical research harder or impossible to carry out. This is something I will continue to call for as a new Parliament considers the data protection regulation. Thanks again for giving me the time to address you, and I hope your conference is going well and look forward to continuing our work together in the fight against childhood cancer.